people get so upset if you like don't waste paper. Paper is actually a renewable resource. First and foremost, you can plant more trees again and again and again and again. But secondly, all of these fibers that you see inside your paper, it can be made into new paper. And that's what this show is going to be about. We're going to be talking about why, we got to be focused on recycling paper. And two, we're going to have this really cool video that we're going to be checking out at the end of the show about how in India they're keeping the papermaking industry alive and using these materials that, you find around your office, around your homes to create new material and new paper to work with. So paper has been around for thousands and thousands of years, right? Humans have been writing on paper for, the ancient Romans were writing on paper, people have been writing on paper for thousands of years, and it's something that's not about to go away anytime soon because it's renewable. It comes from the earth, from trees, and it can be turned back into new paper anytime. So how does that happen? So pretty much whenever you have material, and when you throw in the landfill, you throw it in the garbage, what happens is there's only one option. It goes to a landfill. What is a landfill? It's just a really big hole on the ground where they just dump everything in it. Plastic, paper, diapers, metal, scrap. It goes in that hole, and that's pretty much it. That material is wasted. But if it goes into recycling, what happens is it goes in something called a MRF, which is a material recovery facility. And that material recovery facility, the paper and plastic are filtered out. So imagine if these both things entered into the conveyor belt on a conveyor belt, and they're going through, the machines will separate this into one side and this into the other side. And then eventually it'll make all of this into these huge bales. And bales are these big cubes of material, of paper bales and plastic bales for the next step of the processing. But after it goes through the MRF, all this material, what is this, Joseph? Oh, okay. Nothing too important. Sorry. All this material is then sent to a paper mill. And inside a paper mill, they mix this with water, a lot of chemicals, and it becomes this paste. And I'm oversimplifying the process, but just to make you understand. And this paste is then spread really thin, spread over these rollers to remove the water, the moisture. And that paste, when the water is removed, guess what? Boom! It's new paper all over again. And once again, you use that paper, you draw on it, you use it for construction paper, you write on it, and then you crunch it up again, you throw it back in the blue bin, and you go again and again and again. Paper can be recycled up to 4 to 6 times depending on the impurities and how good that recycling program is. Your Amazon boxes, almost primarily they're made from recycled content. So that's why it's so important that when you know that the material can be used multiple times, it's almost like a responsibility on you. If you know that it can be used again, why are you just throwing it in the garbage in the landfill when there's an opportunity for it to have another life, right? And being cognizant about that is the step one. And a lot of people aren't cognizant. They're not even aware. People don't even know that paper can have a second life, right? But if you are aware, and you can put it in that blue bin, in that recycling program, you can give it new life and save the trees, save the, all the energy required to create the material, and it's also more cost effective. But the part that I find the most difficult is that there are some cities in the United States that do not have any recycling program. All they have is one big black bin, and I'm sure if you're in that city, So there's all these boxes that are being created, right? And they just get tossed into a black bin, folded, whatever, and they just go in the landfill, right? Okay, they're biodegradable over time. They'll break down into dirt, whatever. But the point stands that there were trees that were cut down to convert into paper, and now that paper is, converted into boxes. But without a recycling program, it's just so much waste. And what do you even do with it? Sometimes you'll get a box, you'll open it, you'll take the package out, and toss the box. That's it. That's its entire life, right? And maybe if it was one day shipping, it was shipped that morning. So its entire life is So, guys, main thing is if in your cities you guys don't have recycling programs, something to focus on, try to find maybe there's a regional recycling program that you can go to. Drop your boxes over there. And if not that, push your local community. Talk to your politicians. Push them. We need recycling. We want to save on those resources, and we want to save on that material. So let's get into our React segment. I'm saying it like, like suspenseful, like you know what's happening. But anyways, this is a really cool video. So this is how one town is keeping India's 500-year-old paper making industry alive, and it's by Insider, and they're gonna show you and go through that process. So let's check. It's like a minute long, but it's really cool. So let's begin.
Workers dump over 200 pounds of shredded fabric and paper into this
So
tank.
200 pounds of shredded
shredding machine.
fabric and
The
paper.
machine can
See that
turn
material I was telling you about? It goes in a big
amount.
mixer. Like
It takes 2 people to spread the pulp evenly onto the sieve. The
yeah,
amount
so
varies
they're doing it
depending
all
on how
manually.
thick
They're
the
just
paper
spreading
is.
that.
A piece of
that
cloth
pulp.
goes on top of the pulp so that the sheets don't stick together. For specialty paper, workers add extra decorations.
They're
like
adding these
rose
flowers.
petals. They do this
So
1,000
that's that
times
paste I was
until the
telling you guys
batch is
about.
complete. Then the stack
Yes.
goes into the hydraulic press. They use
And
heavy
now they're
machines
doing it
to
manually.
press
They're
the
not even
stack
using
and
rollers.
send
They're
it to the
actually like
upper
just like
level where there's sunlight.
pressing the
They
paper
remove each piece of
sheets.
cloth one by one, so it can be reused in another batch. The sheets hang out to dry for 2 days.
Is that cloth?
Then a machine called a calendar smooths out
No,
each
it's paper,
piece.
dude.
Finally, with the help of a giant paper cutter,
Yeah.
the worker slices stacks of paper down to size.
And all those trims will go back
Scraps
in the
will
mixer.
Make their way back into the process
Exactly.
from the beginning.
There you go. Simple as that. Like same process pretty much is how every paper is made, manufactured, and reprocessed. Obviously, you come to a fancy mill like Georgia Pacific, Billerud, like any of the big mills, sure, they're gonna have the rollers and they're gonna have the heaters. They're not gonna manually take the water out. Like it happens through the conveyor, but the point stands. The same principles apply. All the fiber that's sitting around you, don't feel guilty for using it, as long as you're putting it in the recycling program. But if you're gonna use paper and not put it in the recycling program, you should feel guilty because you are wasting that tree. That tree who gave its life for you, in a sense. And it could have had 7 more lives, 6 more lives. You're not allowing it to get its full value. So that's very important. People don't always know. I feel metal people, everybody knows metal can be reused. I don't know why, it's almost universal. Everybody knows metal can be reused. Like our society, like metal, of course, you can melt it down. But for some reason, people don't know that paper can also be, quote unquote, melted down in that mixer and made into new paper, guys. So that's important. Let's focus on that. It's the making paper show. So, always we're talking about paper. We're going to keep things popping. This is the Oceaner Studios. We're trying to find creative ways to use paper, to use plastic, use our materials. And we'll see you in the next one. How long was that?